Welcome to the Point of View podcast. My name's Yosa.
And my name's Osatohamen.
And here we are today for another episode. So we really want to apologize for last week, guys. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get a video out.
Yeah.
We had some personal stuff that we had to deal with, but don't worry, we're back here and we're back on track.
I had the flu, if you're wondering. Mm-hmm. And I was out of commission, completely.
Literally. And on a good note, we are doing a part 2 to the episode we filmed 2 weeks ago about the things that we're taking into 2025. And we're doing 4 more things today. And we're actually really excited to share this with you guys. It was genuinely probably one of our favorite topics to talk about. Because there's just so much to cover, you know. There's just so much to talk about. It's like, I need to do this and New Year's resolutions and goals, and we're able to just kind of just put it all together and, make an episode and share it with you guys. So it really was fun for sure.
Yeah. We're super excited.
Yeah.
Should we talk a bit about
our day,
our week?
Our 2 weeks, actually. Or wait.
Yeah, I guess.
A week and a half.
Yeah, so like I said, I had the flu. I've kind of been out for the whole week.
I also had the flu too, but mine was kind of like, when you get sick, but then you get better, but you're still sick. Mine was kind of like that in between. So I felt bad, but I was still able to do stuff. She wasn't even able to
I was in
anything.
bed for I couldn't do anything. I was out.
That's crazy.
It sucked.
It was the flu. I don't think I've ever seen the flu that bad.
Yeah, this is the worst. I think I haven't had the flu that bad since I was in elementary school. Do you remember that one time we were in elementary school, or I was in elementary school, and we all got the flu, 3 of us, our brother, you, and I. And her mom brought down our beds, and we just all stayed in the family room in our beds because we were all sick. It was just a bunch of little kids sick with the flu.
I don't remember this at all, but it sounds like something that probably happened. I mean, I don't remember it, but yeah, I mean, it's January, or well, actually it's February now that we're filming this, but it was January, and it's kind of everyone's coming back from vacation and everyone's getting sick and healing. So it was really just that time of year, and the weather's kind of changing here, but also not really it's warm today.
It's so nice in Texas.
It's 66 degrees. So, and it was
I had the
70
AC
yesterday.
On. And if anyone knows me, I always have my space heater on in the house. Mm-hmm. I always have the heat on in the car. Anyone that drives the car after me, our dad will get mad at me. He's why do you have the heat on it at high? And I'm because it's cold.
I know. I was shocked when I came in the car after you today, our mom's car, and I was why is the AC? I was cold. I was why am I cold? And then it got hot. That's the thing about Texas. It's you'll think it's so freezing, and then you spend 2 seconds in a car in a place, and you're nope, it's hot. Texas is always hot, but yeah, just to get into the video, that was a little bit about us past week or two. Again, we apologize for not having a video or any shorts or TikToks out last week, but we are back on track.
We're back, and we're planning it so that if we ever do get sick again, that does not happen.
Yeah, that does not, hopefully. And getting sick sucks, so hopefully everyone feels good too. But
so should we jump into the episode?
Yeah, for sure.
So like we said earlier, we wanted to talk about 4 more things that we're taking into 2025. And as we were kind of discussing together, what is another good topic or good thing or goal to kind of go into it. You're what's a good one to start with? And as we were brainstorming, I was able to come up with the idea of internalizing that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I was just going to say, I think that's a really important topic to kind of grasp, I would say. Because especially just in the world we live in, it's really easy to just fall under the why is this happening to me? Mm-hmm. Or why is this happening? Why is my life going the way it's going? I feel the second we just realize you're here for a reason. You're in this we're sitting here filming this episode talking to who knows whoever's behind the screen for a reason. Like, you got sick last week for a reason. I got sick last week for a reason. Like, everything literally happens for a reason. Like, your life isn't like one big coincidence where you just came in one day and now you're here by some chance. Like, I think it's really important because once you realize that everything has a reason, it's easier to live life. You're not just going around thinking like, oh, well, this is happening. It's like, no, I have a purpose and like, I'm here for this purpose, you know?
Yeah, I think that I love that you said that because it's so true. I feel like one of the problems that we have in like our society is that like people don't have a purpose. People don't have a goal, a thing in their mind that they're trying to achieve. And so when things happen, it almost like can crush someone so much because they're like, well, I don't even know what my purpose is. So then I don't even understand why this could happen. And not saying that we, 100% understand why everything happens to us, but things happen for a reason. Like, maybe down the line, maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, you'll be looking back on your life and you'll be thinking about that one thing that happened. You're like, oh, wait, this happened, but then this allowed this to happen. Like, it worked out perfectly.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of like I'm trying to go through like all the experiences I've had in my life where it's like, something not necessarily bad has happened, but something like not great has happened. But then it's actually led to like something like an opportunity coming up or like having another experience or another, like a good encounter with someone else. Like things like do happen for a reason. Nothing is coincidental. Nothing is chance. That doesn't exist. There's a purpose and a reason for everything in this world.
Yeah, for sure. And I would say I can't think of a specific example because I'm still trying to figure out my life, which should be testament that everything does happen for a reason. I'm sure there have been things in my life with school and stuff, but like I don't have like a super deep like, oh, like I hated that I was in this situation, but then like a month later this was like the perfect thing for me, because I feel like I'm still in that point in my life where it's like a lot of the big events that are going to happen are happening now, or they're going to happen in the next couple of years. But I just think like kind of like what you're saying, I've seen in other people's lives where it's like they're like, oh, I didn't understand why I had to go to community college for like a year or 2 years, but then I ended up at like NYU or a bigger university 3 years later, and I never would have thought I would have been there if you asked me when I was a senior in high school. Like things like that. That's a testament to me of like, oh wow, like if you'd ask, like imagine going up to like someone at like community college and you're like, wow, do you think you'll be at a top 20 university in like 3 years? I mean, maybe for some of them that's an aspiration, but most of them, they're probably not thinking like, yeah, this is where I'm gonna be in 3 years. But it's like you're here studying what you're studying, learning what you're learning, getting these credits so that in the future you can be somewhere better than where you are right now. And that's why like this whole like college and everything, I'm not like, oh, I have to go, because I feel like there's so much pressure to like go to a university or this amazing college. But like I've heard so many stories of people who couldn't afford college. They want to get their credits in. They want to be closer to home. They did community college. They did online classes for a year or two. And now they're at a better university than all their friends. And they're in a better spot financially than their friends that went to, whatever big university they got into. But now they're in like twice the amount of debt.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think also onto that note, it's like you also need to do what's best for you. Like you're where you are for a reason, but you need to understand that like looking to see what other people's lives look like and what other people are doing, that's not necessarily right for you,
Yeah, no, I mean, so true. Like that is, a big thing, like, oh, college and, the future and everything. But sometimes it's just little things. Like little things happen, and then little encounters as well happen. And it's not necessarily like this huge thing where like, oh, I drove 45 minutes here and then this happened, XYZ. It's not necessarily always those big things, but sometimes it's like these little things. And like those are also important too to remember. And it's also important to remember that like, yeah, everything just kind of leads up to each other. It's like our life is a path. Just remember like, I think of the Wizard of Oz, you know, the yellow brick road, and like in the Wizard of Oz, it's like they're leading up to this path, and you know, there's the end destination meeting the
Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard of Oz. And so sometimes, you know, life is like that. It's like this random path that, you know, okay, I mean, it's just a random yellow path, and it's going to take me to a destination. I don't necessarily know what's going to happen on that path, but like as long as I follow it, as long as I follow the path of my life, as long as I have like a goal and a purpose in mind, and remember that everything happens truly for a reason, I'll make it to that end goal.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing I will add to that note is along the journey or along the road that you're on, an important thing I've picked up, I will say, is journaling those experiences. And I will say not that it sounds weird, but I feel like when you think journaling, you're like, oh, a diary, like something like weird. But like the reason we put this on the list is because I recently started journaling, kind of like my life, because like I've said before, I'm a senior, I'm in that transition phase of life. So I was like, let me just journal my senior year, everything that's happened. And the reason I started is because I was at church, and one of the ladies was speaking, and she was talking about how she had a grandma who had kept like a journal of every single day of her life, or I guess almost every single day of her life, and all the experiences she had, everything that she ever experienced, and all her kids and grandkids were able to look back and be like, wow, like my life isn't like as hard and original as I thought. Like grandma went through this too. And so I was kind of like, well, I want my kids one day, or my grandkids or great grandkids, you know, look at like, oh, what was she doing in 2025, you know? So I started journaling, and also just to have something to look back on too, when times get tough. Cause I mean, you're not going to just have one hard time in your life, you know? Yeah. It could be every day, it could be every other week, but having something to reference back to be like, okay, 2 weeks ago I was also struggling, but I did this, so now I can like, you know,
I can move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like my favorite thing is like, I've never been like the best journaler, like at all. Like I've been trying to journal since I was probably like, I don't know, 8 years old, elementary school. Like, you know, when you would go to the book fair and you would get like I don't know if they still have those in like elementary schools or elementary book fairs now, but there was like the really girly like journal, and it had the diary, lock, and then you would like open it and like you would write down like, oh my gosh, this happened, XYZ. And so sometimes I love looking back on that because I see how terrible my handwriting was. Like it was like absolutely atrocious. And then two, it's just so fun to see like what little 10-year-old me, or what little like 5-year-old, well, probably not 5, but like 6-year-old me, 6 or 7-year-old me was like thinking, and like what she was going through. And it's like the innocence of it. But then like also, you know, later down in my life, like I actually do have a journaling app that I pay for. It's a yearly subscription.
A subscription? Not like a one and done?
It's a yearly.
What? Like, it's an app?
Yeah, it's an app.
So the app was free, but then you had to pay for a subscription in the app?
Yeah, to like have multiple journals.
So if it's free, you can only have one like entry?
No, you can have like one journal, but like if you want like to separate your journals, like I have multiple journals on it. And so I don't know.
I'll get a book from the store.
No, because here's why I decided to buy it. Because I've always noticed that like I buy a journal, or someone gifts me a journal or a diary, and I lose it, right? Like, or I don't lose it, but I like stop writing in it.
Yeah. And
then I get another one. And it's just like I have like literally in my room I have 5 different diaries.
I also have like,
and I'm like, it's just
journals.
adding up. And it's like I open one up and then I always, you know, put my first, middle, and last name. And I'm like, I'm just like, dear diary, or dear me, I have made it a goal to start writing in this journal once a week, once a month, whatever goal I have at that time. And like I don't know, for me, it just never is a consistent thing. Yeah. But I've noticed that with this this journal I bought, it's called Day One. I don't always write in it, but then it's on my phone, right? And so like if anything happens,
it's easy to access.
I can just quickly type my thoughts, my feelings, and so it's just right there and then. And so I actually really enjoy it because there's certain notes that I have, like kind of like the first topic we're talking about, like everything happens for a reason. I write down like certain like experiences and things experiences I've seen that I've seen God's hand in my life. I've written those down in that journal. And so I just have an entry just for that. And so it's like if I'm out and about, like going to Kroger, like, and something happens, like I can quickly just open the phone and go into it. And so I really do, like, I'm not the best at journaling. I'm not like Yosa. She's done a really good job. We've actually, like, sometimes she'll turn on the light in our, because we've said this before. The thing
is, like, we used to have lamps in our room, but now they're no longer in our room. And so it's either the closet light or it's like the big light. And so like I'll turn on the light because I need it to see. And also because I have glasses too, so it's like it's not good for my eyes anyway. And then she'll be like, I'm trying to sleep, or like I'm trying to rest, and then it's like a whole thing. And then I go somewhere else and I write in my journal. But anyway, just another love of being with your sister. Just.
I mean, I've said it before. If we can share a room, we can share a podcast.
That's true. I mean, I feel like we don't share the podcast. We do the podcast. We're doers. But I will say the great thing about journaling, I used to think like, oh, I have to write in this every day. I have to write every experience. But it's kind of like you're saying, it's kind of like you'll be somewhere or something will happen that day, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna write this in my journal tonight, which sounds kind of cringy actually. I
don't think so,
but like, cause that sounds like something out of a show. Like, oh, I should write this in like, Vampire Diaries.
Sure.
You know how the first episode, like Stefan and Elena were both like writing in their journals, like, dear diary, today this happened. That's what I think of when I think of like a journal. For those of you that have, because you haven't watched in a while, because I forgot this happened. But the first episode, and then it kind of like never happens again. Stefan and Elena, like the two characters in the show, they're both like, dear diary, today I met da-da-da, today this happened. It's like they journal their life, which is cool because it's like they're vampires, so it's like 200 years of like journaling, and then he dies. It's just, if no one's finished the show, sorry, he dies. But
the show's been out for like almost 20 years or something.
The show started like 15 years ago. Like I will say that's like the joy of having a journal. It's like I wrote in my journal a couple days ago, but before that I hadn't written in it in like a week. But it was because it was kind of like nothing was happening. Because also I don't want to just. Yeah, I was sick. I don't want to just write down like miscellaneous, like, oh, today I went to school and today I came home and I did my homework. Because sometimes that is my day. Like, but like I like it.
And that's normal. Like it's almost like I feel like I love social media. Like I've talked to like Yosa and our family about this like so much. Like Instagram is probably like has been like my favorite. I've had it since I was 11 years old. I'm turning 22 in like what 3 days in 3 days, and so I've had Instagram for more than 10 years of my life, and like I love posting and I love all of that. But like the problem with like social media and Instagram is it's made it so that everyone, like people think that your life needs to not be the miscellaneous and the normal.
Yeah,
it's exactly. Like, oh, I have to go to Italy, I have to go to Bali, I have to go here and there. Like it's not like, it almost is like, no, it's okay that you just went to school
or just work or
whatever you're doing, and then you came home and then you made, I don't know, cookies and then had hot chocolate and you're watching your favorite show. Like, I mean, that is okay. That's normal. And like, the journaling of that is not, you can if you want.
You can.
But it's not necessary.
I don't want to take up space because the journal's only like because I got it for my birthday, so
you can buy a new one.
Yeah, but I'm like, I don't want to look back. I mean, I guess it would be interesting for people to see.
She has like volumes, like volume 1. Yeah, I know. Volume like 2.
This section of my life. Then when I'm in college, then when I I guess that would be cool to like have the miscellaneous stuff in there. And there have been some days I've written, but like I just didn't feel the need to be like, oh, let me write in my journal because nothing happened. But another thing to say would be that don't not write that stuff, because sometimes that is, you don't think it's interesting, but it's like once you start writing, then I'm like remembering like, oh, and this happened and then this happened, because I notice the more time I take off, the less I remember. So I try and do it every day, but or at least like you said, like once a week, 2 or 3 times, or just when something interesting happens. Because journaling, I'm probably biased because like I do it, but I will say it's one of those things. I know everyone's always like journal, but like it really is cool. It's amazing to just have your life. And sometimes I even look at some of my entries from like, I don't, June, like a couple months ago, and I'm like,
June is more than 6 months ago, Yosa.
Yeah, 7 months. Yeah, 6 months ago, or I'll be
7.
like,
no, 8.
Oh, it's February.
Yeah, it's
July,
February.
August, September,
It's 7. I mean 8. It's 8. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
I
don't like that,
guys.
I do not like that.
But yeah, I mean that I'm a journaling fan. So if any of you guys start, I would highly recommend it. I think it's good for the soul. It's good for your just to have something to like look forward to at the end of the night.
It's good for your mental health. It's literally good for everything. Like I can't see any problem with journaling. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Maybe if you're writing about something sad and maybe depressing, but like maybe have a section for that. If you get the day one journal, you can have a journal that's just like for depressing, and so that you don't look back on that for the next 5 years.
Get a spiral notebook with different tabs, like you're going to school.
Yeah.
Like, okay, depressing area, like
take it over,
or like whatever stuff. But yeah, I mean, journaling, it's good.
So the next topic we had for like, what are we thinking of taking into 2025? Or I think we're not just taking it. We've
taking
done
the
that.
Life.
We've done these things, and we want to do it better and more, and we want you guys to do them too, or think about doing them.
Yeah.
But learning to like have patience and to understand that like things happen the way they are meant to happen.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that kind of goes along with like everything happens for a reason, but it's also just like while you're in that transition eras of your life, learning to just have that patience of like just live in like the now. Like, oh man, like you're going through like one of your toughest trials, a family member died, college or school isn't going the way you want it, you're not getting that job you wanted, you're not surrounding yourself with the perfect friends that you thought you would have in your life. But just like look around every once in a while and just have patience and just be like, I'm grateful to be, it sucks, but it's like, wow, I'm grateful that like this is so hard, because it's like, that there's going to be somewhere at the end of the road, kind of like the Yellow Brick Road that Osatohamen was talking about earlier. It's like, there's going to be something at the end. It's like, you're going to leave this phase of your life. You're going to have something that's coming next, but learning to have that patience of just being in the moment and that things are happening the way they're meant to happen. Like once you have that mindset, and I'm still working on it, but I have noticed like I hate school. I hate it so much.
She comes home every single day, and it's just like, oh, thank God I'm back. Like
it's so hard, guys.
She's so done. She's in senioritis right now.
I've been in senioritis in 7th grade.
Since COVID started.
Yeah, COVID messed me up. But like just every once in a while, I'm like, man, this sucks. Like I wish I was doing something else, but I'm like, just be grateful that you're learning this and that you're like, oh yeah, you got a bad grade, but you can bounce back from it. Just that there's something else down along the road. Just having that mindset. It's been great for me. Yes, I will still complain about school every day, but I'm learning to appreciate this is happening and it sucks, but it's happening for a reason, and it's happening the way it's meant to happen.
Yeah. And I don't think like I'm a little weird and like different from the normal thought of other people about complaining, but I don't necessarily think complaining is bad.
I don't think it is. I think it's healthy.
I think that honestly, sometimes you need to complain through life to get through it. When I was 14 or 15 years old, I went on this overnight hike I think it was a 2-day overnight hike. So it was like 2 nights and then 3 days. Yeah. So we were literally in the mountains of California. We were hiking. I had this heavy, heavy backpack. And like it had all my sleeping bag, all of it. And like something about me is I've had shoulder pain for like a very long time. And so it was so painful because it's like I'm hiking, I'm tired, and I've been a pretty athletic person. I've done sports for since I was
10 years.
Well,
if you were 14 years old,
no,
it would have
sports.
been like
No. I've done sports since I was 3 years old. Like I've been doing sports.
Yeah, it would have been like 9 years when you were 14 years
Yeah,
old.
and so it's like I wasn't like out of shape.
Yeah.
But I was in the back of the party. Like I was in the back. I was exhausted. And you know what I did the whole time? I complained. It was me and this other girl. She and I were complaining in the back together to each other, to like everything, to God. We were just complaining. But you know what? We made it.
And you finished it.
We finished it. I accomplished it. I didn't give up and just sit down on the side of the path. I could have done that.
Yeah,
I could have said, get a helicopter, take me.
Yeah, so someone get me home because I'm staying right here.
I'm not moving.
And it would have been their fault because technically they're your responsibility.
Exactly.
Or
but
you're their responsibility.
Yeah. But no, I was able to complain my way through this hike. And so I think that could be like kind of a lesson towards our life that like, if you need to complain about school, if you need to complain about work, if you need to complain about whatever you're doing in your life right now, and it's annoying you, it's hard, it's difficult, complain. It's okay. Yeah. I think that like you need to and there needs to be like a fine line though. Like don't complain and psych yourself out of doing something, but complain to like say almost let out, the frustration, the anger, and then continue to do what you're doing. And then when you're done with it, you're like, oh, I can look back on this hike from like 8 years ago and like, oh, it was painful, but do I remember, or does my body remember the pain? No, but I think about all the good memories, I think about the great memory of complaining with that one girl. She and I like that will forever be my connection with her. We complained at the back of the hike.
Exactly. And it's honestly like, as long, like, it's better to be stumbling through something than not get through it at all, right? It's like, I mean, it's better that you were, like, because I don't know if you would have gotten through it if you didn't have someone else to, vent and complain to, or if you weren't complaining at all. If you just been like, oh, I can't do this, and you're like, I don't want to complain, though, and then you kept it to yourself, and then it just built up, and then you were like, all right, I'm done, I'm staying here, but complaining is what got you through it. And yes, I don't like school, and sometimes when I used to have a job, I didn't like going to work, but it's like when you get through it, sometimes complaining is the only way. And I'd rather be walking down the graduation line or whatever it's called in 3 months knowing I complained maybe through 4 years of high school than not have graduated at all and been those people that don't turn in their assignments or don't do that stuff. It's like I'd rather be struggling and do it than not do it at all,
Yeah, no. I mean, complaining and having patience. I think that those are like, if there's something, of an action you're going to take into 2025. I guess journaling is also an action, but more of a mental action. If there's a mental action you're going to take into 2025, complain and have patience with your life and with yourself, and I think you'll be able to accomplish a lot of things.
Yeah, you'll get through it. It'll be rough, but you'll get through it. And honestly, on that note, just like one of the last things that we were thinking is just have fun and stress less. Just
simple as that.
Just don't worry. And I know that like when people say, "Hey, don't worry," like it sounds like, "Oh, don't worry," but it's like, obviously you're going to say, "Oh, don't worry about it." But then it's like, now you're worried about it, but you're always going to have something to worry about. That's life. You're always going to have something to stress about. There's always going to be a deadline. Something happens at work, at school, home, whatever it is. That's how life is. But I just think taking the lesson of having fun and worrying or stressing less, it's like, that just leads you into life. Like when you're with your friends, don't think about school. Like when I'm hanging out with people or when I'm having a bad day and I know at the end of the day I'm going to see my friends or I'm going to do something fun, I just want to have fun. And I think we just get so caught up in life and
what you're going to do the next day.
Yeah, deadlines and so much other stuff that you're kind of like, it takes away from those fun aspects of your life. But it's like, those are there for you to be laid back and carefree and just if only life could be easier, but it can't. So just have fun and stress less.
No, I mean, it's so true. I think that like we as human beings, like we need experiences that are not always like so deadline focused or so like using your brain all the time. Like sometimes you really just need to like just
take a break
and like just not think about anything. Like literally just like go and read a book, go and watch the new season of Night Agent.
Night Agent season 2.
I haven't finished it yet, but
it's so good.
I'm scared.
I've heard a little critique about it. I'm kind of upset. Some people didn't like it.
Yeah, I know. I saw in the comment sections. I'm like, I don't agree with you.
I saw in the comments on Instagram. TikTok is a whole other. TikTok people are nice. Instagram people sometimes are mean when it comes to shows. And I'm like, this is my favorite show. And they're like, oh, it sucks. And I hate that one character.
That season.
And I'm like, oh, that was actually my favorite.
But yeah, like, I mean, just like literally having conversations about like a show or like a book you read, or, you know, maybe if you like going outside, a hike that you went on, or like just like do things that are not going to cause you to like in the end like break down. Yeah. Because I think like one of the problems we have in life, and one thing like if we could harp something into your 2025 is that there needs to be a balance. If you're balanced enough, like if you've accomplished all the work you need to, you went to work, you did your 8 hours, you went to school, you did your 7.5 hours, you do all your homework, you're done. Instead of thinking about the next test next week that you've already studied for that day and you're done, maybe like talk to a friend, go on a drive, go get some Chick-fil-A, like have fun. Exactly. In life, and it will just make sure that like you're not going to break down, that like that the, you know, like self-care, you know, they're always like like the new thing is self-care, and sometimes people take it a little too far, and I'm like, let's calm down a bit. But I do think that there is there's so much truth to it, there's so much need for it, like we need to take care of ourselves, and one of those ways is to literally just have fun and stress less.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like that's gonna become our new like
stress less, like that's our motto or something.
Yeah, our new motto.
I know, even like, because honestly if you think about it, you're gonna regret it so much 20, 30, 40 years down the line when you're retired and, you know, you're going to live your life. I mean, you'll be a little older, but it's like if you didn't buy that thing that you wanted, or you didn't go out with those friends at one time, or you weren't able to do that, we weren't able to go to that concert because you're like, it's a little pricey. At the end of the day, this sounds weird, but like, we're all gonna die. We're all gonna eventually go on to the next life. Like, and I'm not saying that's not an excuse to go blow off all your money because you only live once, even though you do only live once. But like every once in a while, don't put it off. Don't put things off. Don't like suck the fun out of your life because you have so many other things. It's like, worry about it later and life will go on, because it really does.
Like, you know? Worry about it. Like, not saying you don't worry about it now, but don't let it consume your life. I saw this reel, I think it was today actually, and I saw the message as something, they were trying to be inspirational, and I just felt like it was doing a little too much. But basically it was this couple, and they were saying that they wanted to retire by the age of 35.
How old are they?
I don't know, but they had a series and they were everything. And so she was listing things that she and her husband do so that they can retire like at 35, and they were like driving a really old car, and it was like I feel
like I've seen this couple.
And I'm kind of like, I understand. I'm not saying like everyone go and get a Bentley, you know, like we're not saying that. But I think that in life, if you want a nice, reliable Jetta, Volkswagen, like if you want like a normal, like, you know, car, or if you want a normal, like
just a nice newer car,
or a nice newer like things in life, I don't think that that's.
And only if you have money for it. I'm not saying like, because I'm in a dollars and cents class right now, since we're actually kind of talking about stuff like this. I'm not saying go and buy the nicest car you want because you can't afford it, or if you're the richest person in the world, go buy $1 million home. But it's like, now if you have the money and if you've saved up for it, you might as well. No, you don't have to retire at 35.
You don't need to retire at 35.
Maybe it'll be 40, 45, maybe it'll be 65, whatever. But it's like...
Well, 65 is kind of old, but like you can like easily retire at 55. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think that limiting your life right now to retire so fast or to do some kind of crazy goal is necessary. Like, I think it's so important that we have fun and you do enjoyable things. You have hobbies and you do hobbies that, you know, are not necessarily like expensive, like going to Dubai, but if you want to go on a little hike to Colorado or something like that, and the plane ticket's like $150, and you had budgeted that, you know, this is if you were talking about when we have full-time jobs, not like now.
Not us.
Not us. But like, it's okay that, you know, that you have that. It's okay that you're able to enjoy life and to live life. And I think that at least, I mean, I wish all the best to those people, but I feel like if that was like the kind of way that people went about life, that's how you break down. That's where problems in your mental health and everything happen. And if you just literally add a bit of fun to your life, I think that
you would have fun and stress less.
And have fun and stress.
I'm gonna start saying that at the end of every episode.
Oh my gosh, we're gonna be so annoying.
Stress less. But yeah, I mean, those are honestly just I should say 10 things now if we add, or no, 9 things if we add this episode and last episode. Just those are just the 10 things that, you know,
9.
10 just sounds so much better. Let's add another thing real quick. Just
if you haven't seen that episode, go check it out. We'll link it down in the description below. Like, that was honestly, like,
it was a good episode.
It was a really good episode. We really loved it. That's why we had to do another one. We've said that in like a billion times.
So like 4 times.
But we like actually really, really loved that episode.
Yeah, for sure. And just these 9 things, just, you know, to take into 2025 and into life, you know, just, I know it's really annoying, but really stress less and have fun. And just, that just goes with everything we said with the journaling and learning to have patience and just learning that everything happens for a reason. It's like, once we grasp these kind of fundamental like topics, it's like, life gets goals and lessons. Little bit easier. Like, life is hard and it's not that easy, but it gets a little.
And it will always be hard.
Exactly.
Like, always.
Yeah, but it does get a little bit easier. Just if something can be a little bit easier, I mean, why not? You know. Mm-hmm. But that's all we have for today for you guys.
Yeah, thanks so much, guys, for tuning in and listening. If you haven't done already, please make sure to like and subscribe onto this video if you're watching this on YouTube, and if you're watching this on, or not watching or listening to this on any of the podcasting platforms, make sure to leave us a 5-star review, and then leave us a little comment as well. Tell us what you like about our episode. Also, check us out on social media. We're there. I feel like we should do a little more on our social media, not just post like reels and like TikToks.
We'll post some photos maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it is my 22nd birthday. In a few days, maybe I'll post a little picture there.
Yeah, so stay tuned for that. But we'll see you guys next week.
Okay. Bye.